appears that we still have one final update for Madden 23 coming out very soon. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what you can expect from that upcoming update, and we're going to go over some of the things that are still kind of plaguing the game a little bit that they could be looking to fix before they get fully into Madden 24 mode, as that game is going to be coming out in a few months. Now, if you don't want to miss out on any of that important Madden 24 news that's going to start dropping very soon, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you never miss any of those important videos when they drop. We're about to get really heavy into the Madden 24 season. EA is going to be releasing a lot of news. There may even be some more leaks that drop before that. And also, hopefully, we'll be getting some news on the delayed NFL 2K game that should finally be dropping sometime later this year. We also got Maximum Football coming out pretty soon as well, and there's been a lot of good info floating around about that, so you definitely want to make sure that you don't miss out on that when it drops as well, because that game's looking pretty promising. Now, I didn't think that we would get an April update for Madden 23, but the rumor right now is that there is going to be that one final update. But the reason I didn't think we'd get one is because if you look at the last two updates in February and in March, they weren't as big as they normally were in years past, which to me signaled that EA was kind of winding down a little bit earlier this year and getting into Madden 24 mode sooner. Now, the reason I thought that they were doing that is because if you look at some of the bugs that happened this year, especially with franchise mode, and then it leaking recently that EA is looking at Madden 24 as a very big make or break game, to me, all of that kind of signaled that they were trying to get a head start on 24 and be done with Madden 23 a little bit earlier than in past years. But if you look back at the previous few years, there has always been one final update in April. So it makes sense that they would want to update the game in April. I just thought that this year they might kind of go away from that in favor of putting a little bit of extra time into Madden 24. Now, what is likely to be coming in this last update? It's a little hard to tell, and the only reason for that is because of kind of what I just spoke about. The previous two updates did not offer as much as we have come to know from Madden in the previous years. In previous years, the February and March updates would have more gameplay changes, would have more bug fixes, and would even have stuff added to franchise mode. These last couple of updates didn't have much of that. It was mostly bug fixes, some server related stuff, and the one big thing that happened with the last two updates is we got the updated X Factor and Superstar players a few weeks ago. But other than that, there weren't really that many things going on. So with the April update, you could say maybe they are going to do a lot of things in that update to kind of hold the game over for the remaining 4 months of the year for the people that like to play year round. But to me, I think it's going to probably be another small update, because it seems like the last few have been getting smaller and smaller, because I do still think they're more focused on the next game, seeing as the problems this year caused a lot of backlash, and they're trying to make sure that doesn't happen next year. So likely what we're going to see in this last update are some of the remaining bugs cleaned up with the game. Now, most of the big bugs have been taken care of through various updates all year long, but there's still some that are lingering, and there are still some server related issues. In fact, a week ago, there was another update to the game, but there were no patch notes or anything on it. Nobody knows exactly what changed, which means it was likely some server related updates, nothing that was too noteworthy for them to actually make an official post about it. But they've still been doing a lot of these secret little server updates, or these small updates in between the bigger ones that we haven't really gotten much information on, and it seems like they're still trying to fix some stuff behind the scenes that were both problems for Madden 23 and hopefully will be things that we don't have to worry about going forward for Madden 24. But since that last update, and even the one before that, a lot of people have been noting some things in the game that changed, but these things were not a part of the patch notes. And this is kind of a typical thing for a lot of games, and it's definitely been typical of Madden over the years, where things with the game will drastically change, at least in the perspective of us who actually play the game, but EA will not tell us about it, or sometimes even say that nothing was changed. But for us that play, we know that something is different. For example, I've been seeing people complain about drop passes a lot more over the past few weeks. They said that passes are being dropped at a higher rate. Coverages over the last couple of updates seem to have gotten worse. If you go back to the beta of this game way back in June, July, the coverage was really good. And then when the game came out, it was still pretty good, but it wasn't quite as good as it was in the beta. And then slowly with each update, it started to get a little bit worse. Man coverage is not nearly as good as it used to be. Zone coverage kind of feels like it's at the worst that it's been all year, and it seems like it got even worse over these last couple of updates. updates. And there's still other issues like the ID, the mic, and slide protection issue where it constantly resets. And it's such a big deal when you look at the fact that blitzing has been so powerful this year and the offensive line has been pretty weak this year. The ID, the mic, and slide protection is one of the few things that can try to help you combat some of these powerful blitzes off the edge. But there's been an issue, I think, most of the year, but it seems to be even worse more recently where these slide protection adjustments keep resetting. So all of those things they could be looking to address in this final update, maybe bumping coverage a little bit, bumping the drop passes, fixing the slide protection and ID, the mic reset bugs, and there's still some other little minor gameplay bugs that are happening, and there's still other server issues that they could be looking to attack because I'm still seeing, weekly or every other week where they're shutting down the servers and people can't get in. They're constantly doing work and maintenance on them, and I'm still seeing people have these instances where they can't get into franchise mode or they're getting kicked out of franchise, or in Ultimate Team they can't get into Ultimate Team, they're getting kicked out of Ultimate Team, and they're not as prolonged as they were in the earlier stages of the game where people would be locked out for a week or multiple weeks, or you were getting corrupted files and couldn't get back in at all. It's not that bad, but I'm still seeing occasionally people still can't get in or are having problems with the server, so they could be looking to do more server maintenance, or as they call them sometimes, stability fixes with the game. But other than that, I'm not really too sure. They haven't added anything to franchise really all year. They've been mostly just trying to fix franchise bugs, so I don't think at this stage of the game we're going to see anything added like we did last year in February and March. They added some new things to franchise mode later in the year. They added new scenarios and I think some new things for the coaching skill trees. I don't think we're going to see that added this late in the year. I think that's something we'll probably have to wait until 24 to get, but there's still a number of other things they could add, like more equipment or more player face scans and player likeness. We could even get some more playbook stuff. A couple of years ago, they did do a playbook update very late in the year, so that is possible because playbook wise, this has been one of the worst years for playbooks. We didn't get a lot of playbook changes, and in fact, to start the year, they took away a ton of stuff in the playbook, so it could be a better late than never thing where sometimes they do like to put some new content like that in the game during the last update of the year to try to hold people over for those last few months where they're not going to be updating the game anymore at all. So all of those things are possible, but with judging how EA's been this year, it's really kind of hard to call it because the last few updates, like I said, have been very small. They haven't really done a whole lot, and usually with the last update of the year, they're not doing too much, but sometimes in the past they have done a little bit more than expected. So it really is a toss-up, but the main news here is that there is rumored to be one last update for the game, and then we're going to start getting a ton of news on Madden 24, which should hopefully be exciting. It's always kind of fun to hear what's coming with the new game, and the fact that they're saying it's a make or break year and that we should expect some big changes, especially for the offline modes, that's something to look forward to. At least they're saying that something big should be happening. Now, if something big doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen, and we'll find that out in the next few months, but it's at least good to hear that something big is supposed to be happening, so it's something small to look forward to for now. But in the meantime, if you want more news about the upcoming Maximum football game, which is going to be the next football game that drops, make sure you check out this video right here on the screen.